All right, guys, let's talk about it. There is a story of this man in the Bible called Lazarus, who was a friend of Jesus Christ. He fell sick and died, was buried for 4 days until Jesus Christ came and resurrected him from the dead. So in the history of humanity, this is the first man who died, was laid to rest in a grave. He stayed in the grave for 4 whole days and he came back to life. As in, the same human being came back to life, lived with his family, continued his life in the community, went back to his business he was doing before he died. Yet, the Bible is quiet about it. Are you trying to tell me that Lazarus never said anything about what he saw in the afterlife? Why did the Bible writers not record his own side of the story? All these debates we are having today about what happens to us when we die, it could have been solved if the Bible writers had just gone to interview Lazarus. It was a simple thing to do. If the Bible writers had just gone to interview Lazarus to find out what he saw on the other side of life, at least we would have had some answers to the questions we are asking today. But the more I think about it, the more I become convinced that the Bible is a fraudulent book. The writers of the Bible, or let me say those who compiled the Bible, had malicious intent. They brought that book with the aim of manipulating. They voluntarily concealed Lazarus' side of the story because they don't want you to know exactly what happens in the afterlife. They want you to keep believing in something that is not really certain. They want to maintain that mystery. They want to maintain that suspense because they know that the moment you know the truth is going to set you free. You are going to see that most of the things that religion is teaching you is not true. Why is Lazarus quiet in the Bible? That is even the most important story we want to hear in the Bible. Why would they go and be telling us the story of Ananias and Sapphira? How is that useful to us when there is something as important as somebody who has knowledge of what happens after somebody dies? Lazarus' resurrection is even more than that of Jesus because the resurrection of Jesus Christ, he appeared, he did not continue living his life in the community where he was. He was just appearing randomly to his disciples and sporadically. Lazarus came back to his family, went back to his village or to his town where he was born. Everybody knew him. People who were at his funeral saw him. He continued living his life with them for many years before he finally died, because he eventually died. But then you want to tell us that people did not ask him exactly what happens when somebody died? I'm sure they did, because it's a normal thing. Humans are curious. They would ask. The authors of the Bible intentionally omitted Lazarus' account because they don't want you to know what happens